All right, so my lightning talk today is called I Built a Bot That Judges Me for Working Too Late. And we're going to be using an automation tool called n8n. There are other tools like this. Make.com is very popular in Zapier. But these can allow you to integrate AI. You can have agents. What we're going to be doing today, though, is more integrating Google Calendar with Slack. So we want to set more or less a rule to where if a calendar event is created and it's after 6, or if it's 6 or after, like we want to have the Slack bot more or less, through a webhook, just ping you saying, hey, you're more or less wasting your life. You should probably not create a calendar. Just this is supposed to be a fun experiment, but we're going to do this in under 5 minutes, I hope. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new workflow. And what we would actually do is probably have a cron job. There are ways of doing this. You can define on a schedule. We're just going to have a trigger manually. And what I like about n8n is you can actually test the workflow anytime. Now, it's not going to give you anything right now because there's actually no output other than, it's executed. But let's proceed. Let's go to Google Calendar. So this is what I like about it. You can just keep adding additional nodes, as they call it. And I'm going to just copy and paste from another example. We're going to want to get the start and the end of the day. And there shouldn't be, and then we got to select the calendar. We got that. We also need a connection. To give you some context, you're going to need to create your own, OAuth client instance here where you need just the client ID, client secret, and the URI, and then more or less select the Google Calendar API. All right, going back here. If I were to test this, we're getting many, there's no data, and that makes sense because we don't have any events. Good. Let me actually add, so I'm going to just add it at 6, just so we have, let's just do a test. It doesn't really matter. It just has to be after 6. So if I test, you should see now we're getting an actual, there's the test. Now we're going to go over here, and we're going to want to set in, actually, no, we're going to want to go with a node. I can't remember what it's called. What is it called? Give me just 1 second. Looks like it's just code, actually. Yeah, I would have forgotten that. And this lets you execute JavaScript or Python, which is kind of cool. Now I'm gonna just copy and paste this to save us some time. So there's several messages. There's the start of a time. Let me see if there's start. There's the start of date time. All right, oh, you know what? I need to have this run for each. So if I were to test this step, you'll see that it's actually working. So there's several ways. You can run it in batches, or you can just go each one, you're running and executing. So what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing, just to save some time, I just want to see if after T, at this specific, in this specific position, is it greater than 18? And right now it is, because I did create an event at 6:30. So if I test this step, that seems to be working. What I like is you could actually, it shows the previous step to each one of these. And now the final thing is going to be, we're going to want to just have an HTTP request. Let me just grab this. And what you're going to want to do is we want to create, we essentially want to choose a new channel. I have my Slack, where is it actually? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I want to just choose general. And so I've got let me just go general. Okay, let's add an incoming webhook integration. All we have to do is specify the URL. This is very easy. And this should be a post. And I think the only thing we need now is to send the body. And we could just have it using JSON. So if you're looking over here, there's this message. I could actually specify, well, I don't want to do it like that. I actually want to have it like that, where you could specify, you can actually drag things over, and I could just run this step and you'll see data okay. Now if I go over here, you'll notice Slack, your pasta is waiting. So that's just a very short way of just give you an idea of how we were able to integrate Google Calendar and Slack within just a couple of minutes. I'm not sure if I'm over time or not, but the main thing I want to stress is there's definitely power with automation tools. Now, a big ask, I would very much encourage you guys to just take a look. There's n8n, if that's not something you're interested in, look at Make. But there are a lot of templates that I feel like you can add these. These are just existing workflows. All you need are just the credentials. Create AI videos with OpenAI. There's so much power here. So just think about it. Think if there's anything you can do to automate. That's what we're doing, at least the architectural side, where we're going to be automating. We're going to have our own audit bot, also deploy bot. There's a lot you can do here, and I'm going to be using n8n. So yeah, that's it. I hope this helps, and yeah, let me know. Reach out if you guys have any questions, concerns.